Beverly, welcome. How are we doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Thank you so much for jumping on. I know you're super busy right now. You got one of the fastest growing organizations across the country right now. You guys have really taken off in the last year. I've been chatting to a bunch of people recently, a couple of regionals, couple of VPs, and now I want to talk to a couple of aspiring VPs, someone that I think in the next 2, 3 years could really step up and make some big jumps into consultancy. And honestly, your name was top of the list along with a few other people as well. So I always want to start off by, can you tell me a little bit about your background? I know you don't have to go through your whole history back to kindergarten and stuff like that, but tell us a little bit about you, the lady behind the resume, the lady behind the company.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of crazy to think about, right? But I'm originally from Jersey, families from Portugal, so born and raised in like a Portuguese household, learned both languages and studied international business. So I almost had like two routes I could go. Like my mom's route was more like embassy and politics globally and just wasn't the route that I wanted to go in. My dad's side is very much more entrepreneurial. Everyone runs a company and kind of saw that and wanted, that sector to grow into. I just didn't know how I was going to get into that avenue. So went through college, studied at Arcady University, did my degree in 3 years, and basically had an extra year to get experience. So I took on a bunch of different internships, applied to several different companies, got myself into marketing and sales. They said that was a platform to get into more entrepreneurship. And I just found myself really enjoying that sector. In the beginning, I didn't, right? It was kind of scary, sales and marketing, and maybe sometimes has a negative connotation to it. But once I understood the platform that I could really gain for myself and kind of gaining more of a skill set in my toolbox for what I really wanted to do later on. It was something that I was really excited about. So, did my internship, went through the, program side of things and got to a assistant manager role, a manager role quite quickly. Ran my first office in St. Louis, promoted two managers out there. We grew that office and really just exploded. We won a couple of accolades and then came over to Cincy to do it again, and here we are.
You did again. You blew up Cincy.
Yeah,
Now you're expanding out some more from there. What about
yeah.
yourself? What do you like to do personally? When you get a little bit of downtime. I know we work so hard and we're on the clock 24/7, but what do you like to do to chill out a little bit and relax?
Yeah. Yeah, a big thing for me is dance. I danced all of high school and college, and so that's a big thing for me. One of my goals is to open up my own dance studio. So I like
Oh,
to do that. Like to cook. I think I'm pretty good. I'm Portuguese, so my mom taught me a lot. So I think I'm decent.
yeah.
Go to the gym. My trainer might say otherwise because sometimes I complain to him, but for the most part, I do like to go. So just different things. I mean, I also like to travel. I mean, love to travel.
Yeah.
Um, got to go to, I mean, I hit 30 countries this year. I got to go to like India, Ethiopia, and Hong Kong for the first time, and that was a new sector, so that was really cool. So if you ask me, I would travel like every week. I mean, I think do still,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say like that's top hobby for sure.
To go to St. Louis and Minneapolis is not quite the same as going to India and Dubai and stuff like
I
that.
mean,
But
similar.
travel,
It's
travel is travel, right?
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
one of my first memories of you, and I talk about this all the time because I just think people don't network enough. I think people want
Yeah.
they want to be in a certain situation, but to get there, they don't realize that you're not going to get there on your own. You got to get people on your side, win people over. I don't think anyone used to message me more than you did. Like I would call it like slightly harassment in a good way. It was just like bombardment,
Right.
bombardment. But you know, what would you advise other people? People eventually, like it was like these questions are so great. I need to answer. I need to respond. Like sometimes I get maybe 20, 30 messages a day, but these questions kept popping up, and I'm like, I need to speak to this girl. And we started networking, and it's been really amazing to see you flourish into where you're at right now. Where sometimes, I reach out to you to ask for some help or ask for some advice. 2 seconds. This camera's just gone off. We can cut this up a little bit.
No worries.
There's a camera gone off. Give it a couple of seconds and we can get the slide back on.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's circle back. So, yeah, networking is key to growth, and how would you advise other people on how to go about networking with people that maybe they feel a little bit inferior, a little bit intimidated? Like, what's your approach to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember bombarding you. I was so new, right? But I was just
Yeah.
so eager to learn. And a concept I learned really early on was like closed mouths don't get fed. So you have no idea um what information you can get, or you miss every shot you don't take. And so you can't give me the information that I actually need to grow unless I reach out to you. You're not going to be able to read my brain. And we never actually got to meet, I think, before me messaging you, and then we got to meet in different conferences and stuff, but then I was able to build that relationship beforehand. And so yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people miss the shots they don't take because they're scared of, the rejection part of it, of no one responding, of feeling annoying. And like you said, it was maybe a little bit of harassment, but it was because I just wanted to be the person that stood out. We
Yeah.
always talk about being the person that stands out. Like, what are you willing to do that other people aren't willing to do? Well, observe the masses, do the opposite. What is everyone else not willing to do? Well, they think that they're annoying. Well, I'm just gonna be the most aggressive because you're a regional consultant, and so you have massive amounts of text messages I could only imagine. And so if I text you, I can only imagine that everyone else is going to text you. So my name's now at the bottom of the list. So how do I keep making myself stand out? I just got to keep texting you. A little bit crazy, right? It sounds when I'm talking about out loud, but when my name keeps popping up at the top, sometimes you're just so busy and you get caught up in other things. But you're like, oh my God, like, yeah, like she keeps reaching out. She's consistent. That's what most people aren't. They
Yeah.
think they're going to reach out to you once and you should automatically say, oh, yes, I have time for you. You also have to bring value. Like, what value are you bringing to that person to give you their time? Because that's someone's biggest commodity, right? So, yeah, I think just taking as many shots as I possibly could until I got you on the phone, and we've been able to chat since then.
I just remembered something. I think I was at like a conference somewhere or an R&R, and I'm kicking it back with a bunch of managers. We're all chatting, and my phone goes off, and I'm like, "Damn, it's that girl again." This is what I said out loud to a bunch of people. I went, "This girl's so aggressive. She's relentless." And someone went, "It's not Beverly, is it?" I said, "It is." I think it was Yuri or someone. He went, "It is Beverly." I was like, and then someone else went, "Yeah, it's Beverly. She's relentless." I was like, and that's the key though. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to go to as many different sources as possible if you want to win at the end of the day. Again, it's just like the field. It's the same shit in the field. Um,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
I saw this thing, and I know what it is, but I saw you got a golden ticket. I know, and
Mhm.
we're not talking about Charlie Chocolate. Was it Charlie Chocolate and the was it Charlie and the
Charlie.
Chocolate Factory? Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
I remember that, but what's that all about? That looks exciting.
Yeah. So it's the Elite Female Entrepreneur Club. It's run by Alana, one of the national consultants, and she runs this club every single year for the top 20 females in the industry. And this is across South Africa, UK, America, Australia. Like, maybe I'm missing a couple places, but overall, the top 20 people in the industry. And it's based on what your company is generating, the managers you're promoting, the value that you're bringing to the clients that we partner up with. And it's quite cool. I got selected last year for the first time. We went to Orlando. That was super fun. It was a day of conferences and hanging out. And the next day, we got to go to Universal Studios and just have some fun. And so the golden ticket is the invitation. So last year it was a balloon, and when you blew it up, it said like you are invited. So they're quite clever. This year
It
it's a
looked
golden
cool as hell.
ticket.
I'm like, man, I'm jealous. We need to do a
Yeah.
box club, but
Exactly, exactly. So you have to scratch it off and it tells you like the secret location and what we're gonna do. And yeah, I think I know. You almost want to put on a wig yourself and come, right?
I
And
can
get invited.
identify as a woman, maybe.
Exactly. So I'm excited for it. It's great to bring us all together, kind of reinforce some of the messages that we're trying to create as well for some young female entrepreneurs that, it's a very much male-dominated business, just business in general. And I think a lot of people may look at that and think like, I could never do it. And so helping those people be inspired and know that these are the examples and you can do it. And there's multiple examples and it's really diverse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also just overall helps us grow as an industry, get more information to give more information.
Someone asked me this question the other day. What's the split in our organization, like in our industry? What's the split between male and female? They said, is it male heavy? And I said, well, I think it is. And then I'm like, I don't think it is actually. I would say it's a pretty even split across the board, right? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's gotten way better. And when I look at multiple other industries and sectors, it's pretty fair game, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's changed a lot, but I think a lot more of these different things is what's helping it. So yeah, it's been exciting to see the growth and the 50-50 split and more to come.
And you definitely deserve it. If you look at your company, I don't know the specific statistics, but just looking at the average wire, what the business is bringing on board gross revenue, it's well over, I think at the end of this year, it's going to be over $1.5 million of wire, which is incredible. If we look at that percentage, that's about $600,000 net profit that's going to come into your business before expenses. That's insane. You've been dominating the Spectrum campaign for the last couple of years, always in the top three offices across the country, promoting people, bouncing back quick. What do you think separates you from other people on the campaign, coming from someone who's on the campaign as well and looking at the constant success you're having? What do you do differently? Share some golden nuggets with us.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from the outside information that we get, like educating yourself, like having this almost starvation for hunger and unlimited appetite to want more. Because it's one thing to get really good at what you specialize in, but we work with people at the end of the day. And so, how much information can you give to so many different backgrounds? If your cup isn't overflowing with information, you just can't physically pour into other people's cup. And so, I think I just got really maybe obsessed with the development side of it, the personal development, the personal journey, what I was able to educate myself on so I can give to other people. And there's amazing applications that we have even in our industry specific, but sales, marketing, management, leadership, people, what we do is a lot of psychology and just knowing the individual. And so educating myself on all those different avenues. Like there's even it's called an Aspire tour in Texas next week and has like Kevin O'Leary there, David Goggins, like all these top people. And sometimes we're like, oh, well, it has nothing specifically to do with sales marketing, and we get so specific and like what we're doing. But those golden nuggets from, these sharks and these amazing people, well, you come back and you bring it back to your team, and it almost just inspires the individuals in your office that it's way greater than what we do day to day, especially when the field can be so mundane. Like we both know that, right? We went through the field and sometimes we get so stuck in, oh my God, it's just sales. But what we don't realize is there's so much more. It could be a vehicle to what you want to do and to achieve your goals, the platform. Um, and yeah, just being able to take the information that I learn from different things, and then give it to people, I think that inspires them to then do the sales, do the marketing, do the management, do the program, but then allows them to think way greater than themselves. And that's what we want. Like we want to aspire new entrepreneurs. We don't want more employees. That's the whole point of the business. And so the more I can have people think for themselves, well, naturally that's going to create a culture where you want to win, you don't want to lose, right? And that competition to be the top, to be the best. And so naturally, your sales, where you can generate, over $1 million as a company, well, it comes from the team that you back up every single day. And you can, I mean, only ask what you're willing to give them. And so they're going to work harder when you're providing that much more value plus more.
It inspires you as well. Like doing different things to educate yourself is inspiring as well. Even going in
Yeah.
different sectors, it doesn't matter. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What would you say are maybe your top two highlights of the year? Or
Yeah.
let's say the last 12 months, because we're halfway through the year right now. The last 12 months I know have been pretty big for you in
Yeah.
terms of achievements. What's top two?
I think number one is really seeing the organization grow. You talked about my company generating more than 1.5 million. It's also cool to see now my outside deals and those managers also generating that much plus some for the client. And so it's not just myself, but seeing the team grow, seeing them achieve different things, things that they can imagine. And I remember these guys when like they first started, right? I mean, knowing nothing and being able to have the privilege to train them from where they're at now or where they were before to where they're at now. So that's been cool, seeing the organization really double, see what we're really capable of, and then also not just myself seeing all these awards and accolades, but also seeing them do the same thing. That's always super rewarding. And then number two, personal, we go back to travel, right? So my ultimate goal is to get to 100 countries by the age of 40
Woo.
and all six continents. I calculated the other day. I'm at 30 countries, 29 states. It's an odd number. And then six out of the seven continents. So
What's the last continent?
Antarctica. I haven't been
That's
to
what I
Antarctica.
was thinking. I knew it was that. I was just like, damn, are you gonna go there? Are we gonna have an office in Antarctica?
I
That
mean, we're gonna find a way. I mean, I just have to hit the bucket list, you know? It's one of those things. So yeah, that's been super exciting to just see that we are closer to the 100 countries that I'm looking to get into. And that's by the age of 40. So lifetime, I'm trying to get to every single country. The world's massive, right? As much as I can explore, I definitely will.
that's amazing. That's and how old are you now?
I'm
We
27.
don't know, we don't ask a woman that question, but I know you're super young to have hit 40 countries already is pretty insane. Um, I look at you like not just a good entrepreneur. I see what you do for your organization. I think you lead from the front effectively, which I think is key to being big in our business. Like all the consultants, they want to lead all the time and lead for their team. What do you think makes a great leader and an entrepreneur? Just overall, the essence of a great leader.
Yeah. Yeah, we had this conversation the other day with a couple people, and we're talking about like the differences of even just like leader and entrepreneur. Like I think those things could be very different, right? Or someone like a titan, like a shark, right? When we watch like those shows like Shark Tank, like what separates even entrepreneurs and them. But I think overall, it's the brand that they create. They're like willing to put the face to their name and like back up everything that they do. They don't just find a way to win, but they have a hunger for more. Like they never settle for less. So many times when you reach a level of success, it's so easy to take your foot off the gas. It's like, okay, here's a goal. I hit it. Now I'm done. I think an entrepreneur, a leader, someone that's pushing for more, they're always moving the goalpost, right? It's like, okay, now one's done, and here's another, and this is done, and here's the next. And so I think just achieving those things for themselves, but then helping other people achieve that same level of success or more for them. I think that's an entrepreneur. Is like, what can you do for other people? How can you help them? Because if you do that, you'll always end up achieving your own goals, right? And entrepreneurship is about sharing. Like at one point, you'll have so much abundance in whatever you're looking for. It's not even just fair to share, but it's more rewarding when you can do it together with other people. So
Yeah,
I think it's what's the biggest
you
difference.
got to create something, you know. Like I interviewed someone the other day, and I'm like, what did you study? And they said entrepreneurship, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So, you know, what do you do as a job right now? And they looked me dead in the eye, and they went, I'm an entrepreneur. I said, but what do you do? You know, they said, well, I have a degree in entrepreneurship, so I'm an entrepreneur. And I said, man, that doesn't make you an entrepreneur. You could have a degree, you could have a doctorate as a doctor, but if you don't have a job as a doctor, you're not a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, I think you got to create something. And so many people want to be an entrepreneur. They got seven side hustles. They don't have one good side hustle that they're good at. So they don't have one main hustle that they're good at and they inspire in to do well and inspire others. I think you've actually got to create something as an entrepreneur. And that's
Yeah,
what a lot of people don't
100%.
do. And I feel that's what you're creating right now. You know, the core value of our business is sales. Our business is about sales, it's about recruitment. Can you give us a couple of top sales tips? Go back in the day when you're in the field.
Yeah. I think people confuse sales with like persuading someone and like persuading meaning like convincing because there is a level of persuasion, right?
Yeah.
But I think when it comes down to it, the more honest you could be of like what are you offering and how can it help someone, that's really the secret, is it not? I think people look for like the secret sauce. Like, okay, but how do you close this deal and how do you close this sale and what about this person? But it's really simple. The simplicity is be honest, tell them exactly what they're getting, make it make sense for them. They obviously have a problem, or if it's not as obvious, find the problem, give them a solution, and that's it. Like that is sales, in everything that we do. So I think especially when you're in the beginning, you think sales is so difficult, and that's what almost makes it more complicated. But as humans, I think we just complicate everything. And so when you could simplify it, when it's like, I'm a human, I'm just going to talk to another human, see what the problem is, figure out the solution. Can what I have offer them that solution? Yes, great. No, no worries. But I leave everything on the table. So it's not like I'm really convincing them. It's this makes sense. And then you see the long term and the longevity of that customer versus a short term fix to get the hype of I did a sale or I closed a customer. It's very much straightforward.
That's awesome. And let's finish things off with goals. Like I always talk about what's the goals for the rest of the year. We still got 50% of the year left almost, or 45%.
Mm.
2025, then into 2026 next year, and then let's go big, 2030. What's your goals?
Yeah, I think you talked about in the beginning, like consultancy for sure. That's obviously the goal for myself and the organization, and having those guys get to a consultancy stage and helping them grow. Especially for 2025, right? Taking on more clients for 2025 and 2026. You're going into more regions. We're in four now. And so continuing to take on more clients, more campaigns, more territories. And then even 2030, I mean, personally, like we talked about, my dance studio, maybe writing a book, right? There's so many things I feel like I've already done, and I'm only getting started. And so being able to leave some sort of a legacy and a brand and kind of create that'd be massive. But I think going back to, I guess, the overall theme of like, why are we doing all this now? Well, in 2030, like, what are we looking back on? The success of ourselves, the success for other people, and really helping them achieve those goals. So, yeah, I mean, personal travel, again, we're going back to making sure I'm hitting all those different countries. Definitely getting to Antarctica by 2030. I calculated, I think I'd be like 32 years old. So maybe we can get to all full seven continents before that age. But I think for myself is just continuing to push and also leaving a little bit of leeway to see what life brings, right? You can only kind of figure out the pathway so much. The rest, I kind of let it go with the flow. I think that's also important to take it day by day. Enjoy the journey because the destination will always be there. And it's not about getting to that destination because that's always moving like the goalpost.
That's like a perfect way to end this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. That was deep at the end. I like that. That's left me thinking. Beverly, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today, and look forward to seeing you soon.